ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकाय चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरवदुषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त श्रीराधा कान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचंद्राय राधिकाय धराले कृष्णाय कृष्ण भक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरून् दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य ईश्वरं हरि ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. So Danut pranams to all the devotees. We'll start with one round of chanting now, and then we will move on to for my own purification, for the pleasure of Guru Gauranga and all the assembled Vaishnavas, we will speak something about Srila Lokanath Goswami, whose Tirobhav Tithi it is today. And then we will proceed with singing this beautiful song written by his disciple, his only disciple, Narottam Das Thakur, Shri Guru Charana Padma, Kevala Bhakti Sadma, where he mentions his spiritual master as the ocean of mercy, the friend of all of the jivas, like that. So we'll do that, and then we will go ahead with our study of Krishna consciousness, the matchless gift, and then finally we'll end with Harinam Sankirtan. So that's the schedule for the day, as was also mentioned in the group. So Hare Krishna. So let's start chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Namo Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Stotra Shadeshavikle Sabhisharanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ganga Maiya ki jai, Yamuna Maiya ki jai, Bhakti Devi ki jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai, Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Kali Kapatita Pavana Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki jai, Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki jai, Mathura Dham ki jai, वृंदावन धाम की जय, मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय, पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय, अनंत कोटि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Ananta Koti Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. So thank you all for joining in once again. Today is the most auspicious occasion of, if I would request devotees can switch on your cameras, right? I'm just looking at the screen, it's completely black. I can see only Karpagavali Mataji and Shobha Mataji, right? So if devotees can switch on your cameras, it'd be nice to talk to all of you, to just share the glories of Lokanath Goswami, and for your pleasure, for the pleasure of Shri Guru and Gauranga, and for my own purification. So Hare Krishna. So today is the Tirobhav Tithi of Lokanath Goswami. We all know Lokanath Goswami is the spiritual master of Narottam Das Thakur, for whom Gauranga Mahaprabhu had actually kept Krishna Prem in the Padmavati river. Right. So if Narottam Das Thakur is so exalted that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has actually kept Krishna Prema for him, how much more exalted should be his spiritual master? With the great difficulty, we'll discuss that Narottam Das Thakur actually convinced Lokanath Goswami to become a spiritual master. So how much more exalted should Lokanath Goswami be? And yet, how humble he is, that we will see in today's session. So Lokanath Goswami and Bhugarbha Goswami were the two devotees whom Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had asked to go to Vrindavan Dham. That is, even before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan Dham, he had asked Lokanath Goswami and Bhugarbha Goswami. Even before our Shad Goswamis were asked to go to Vrindavan, it was in the initial, the first two devotees were Bhugarbha Goswami and Lokanath Goswami, who went to Vrindavan Dham, wherein Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed them to discover the Leela Sthalis of Shri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan Dham, to excavate those places, and all those instructions was given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it is said that Lokanath Goswami immediately he went to Vrindavan Dham, although he did not want to leave the association of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Just to follow the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he went to Vrindavan Dham. And we all know how Lokanath Goswami later on, after being some time in Vrindavan Dham, following the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he wanted to very much meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he heard that Nimai Pandit has actually now taken sannyas. Sri Krishna Chaitanya has now taken sannyas, and then he wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was filled with separation. He was crying tears. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Right? He has to be the object, where everybody serves him for his pleasure. So why should such a Supreme Personality of Godhead take sannyas? So he was very much weeping in separation. He wanted to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is now in Navadvip. And then he rushed to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, but he could not meet because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had moved forward to Prayag and then to South India Yatra. And in this way, he went to all those places where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went in the hope of meeting Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu kept on going to other places. And he heard a Vani of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saying, you go to Vrindavan Dham, you do your seva at Vrindavan Dham. And in this way, it is said that Lokanath Goswami did not meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at all, although he had the desire. So this was the mode of Vipralamba Seva, following the instructions of the spiritual master. Although he had this intense desire to meet his spiritual master, to have darshan of his spiritual master, to have the association of his spiritual master, and still he could not get it. And still he continued his seva according to the instructions of his spiritual master, who is none other than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, coming to why do we not find not much of details about Lokanath Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita? So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, he is the author of Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he went to Lokanath Goswami and seeked his blessings. Right? I'm going to write based on the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees. I am planning to write the Leela, the Adi Leela, that means the first 24 years pastimes, and then Madhya Leela, starting with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, South India Yatra, and Antya Leela of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I seek your blessings. And then Lokanath Goswami says, I give you my blessings on one condition. You should not mention my name in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is the glory, right? A devotee. We also see that in Madhavendra Puri's pastime, right? When everybody got to know that Kir Chor Gopinath, right? He came to be known. The Lord also got a glory because he stole Kir for his devotee. So in this way, Madhavendra Puri immediately left that place when everybody came to acknowledge him, to praise him, that the Lord stole Kir for you. Similarly, Lokanath Goswami did not want any kind of name, fame, glory. So he said, my name should not be mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So that's the reason we don't find Lokanath Goswami's name also in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So like that. So this is a humility of Lokanath Goswami. And now we will also very briefly discuss about how Lokanath Goswami accepted his only disciple, who is Narottam Das Thakur, right? So Narottam Das Thakur wanted to take initiation from Lokanath Goswami, but seeing the humility of Lokanath Goswami, who didn't want his name also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, he said, I am not qualified to take any disciples. I will not take any disciples. And Narottam Das Thakur was so heartbroken. So what did he do? Narottam Das Thakur actually went, and early in the morning, when Lokanath Das Thakur used to do his morning rituals, used to clean the entire place. And, the whole place would, smell with nice fragrance, and the whole place used to be neat and clean. And every day Lokanath Goswami used to wonder, who's cleaning up all this place, right? And one day Lokanath Goswami stood behind the bushes to see who is actually cleaning this place. And then he found that Narottam Das Thakur is actually cleaning with his own hands, right? The entire place after Lokanath Goswami performs his morning rituals. And every day, the whole place is, made fragrant and aromatic by Narottam Das Thakur. Seeing this, seeing this menial seva that Narottam Das Thakur was doing for so many days. Narottam Das Thakur actually is said to be very, very rich. And in this way, when he saw Narottam Das Thakur doing such a seva, simply to get the shelter of Lokanath Goswami, and how he was willing to surrender everything to his spiritual master, Lokanath Goswami told that you will be my only disciple. So he took Narottam Das Thakur as his disciple. And Narottam Das Thakur has sung this beautiful song. Actually, it is said that, one important pastime, what I missed, Lokanath Goswami's worshipable deities are Shri Shri Radha Vinod. It is Vinod. Vinod means very wonderful. How he even got those deities. Actually, when he was just doing his meditation, when he was doing his prayers, at that time, Radha Vinod, the deities automatically manifested in front of him. And then when he opened his eyes, he was asking everybody, "Oh, do you know who left these deities here?" Right? Anybody knows how the deities came here? And then Radha Vinodji started talking to Lokanath Goswami, saying, "Who else can give you the deities, right? We want your seva. So we have manifested simply to take your seva." In this way, Radha Vinod, the deities manifested simply to fulfill the desire of Lokanath Goswami to worship them. And it is said that he did not used to do elaborate worship of Radha Vinod, right? He used to have a bag which he used to hang, like we hang around a bead bag in our neck, right? Whenever we get the chant time, we can chant Hare Krishna. So similarly, he used to hang, a bag wherein he used to put his deities, Radha Vinod, very small deities. Radha Vinod deities in his bag, and he used to carry those deities wherever he used to go. It was like a pendant, right? A necklace and a pendant. And the very beautiful Radha Vinod deities in this way were carried by Lokanath Goswami wherever he went, wherever he did go, because he didn't have any place, right? We know how the Goswamis used to live, right? They used to not even stay under the same tree because they want to relate the pastimes of Shri Shri Radha and Krishna in every tree, right? Whatever pastimes was there. So they did not have a stationary place to stay. So in this way, wherever he went in pursuit of for fulfilling the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wherever he was going day in and day out in Vrindavan Dham, he used to carry his worshipable deities, Radha Vinod, in that bag and carry them all over the place like that. And very beautifully, the song, this is written by Narottam Das Thakur, glorifies his spiritual master, Lokanath Goswami, as the ocean of mercy, and Lokanath Lokera Jivana. That means he's the life and soul of all those jivas, all those living entities want to perfect their lives by developing all these wonderful qualities and want to go back home, back to Godhead. Lokanath Goswami ki jai. Jaya Radha Vinodha Radha Vinodha Radhe. Jaya Radha Vinodha Radha Vinodha Radhe. Lokanath Dhana Dhana He. Jaya Radha Vinodha Radha Vinodha Radha Vinodha Radhe. Srila Lokanath Pranadhana He. Srila Lokanath Pranadhana He. Jaya Radha Vinodha Radha Vinodha Radhe. Srila Lokanath Pranadhana He. I will sing this beautiful song written by Narottam Das Thakur in glorification of the spiritual master in general, that we sing every day during our Guru Puja and every ISKCON temple, wherein he mentions the name of his own spiritual master, Lokanath Goswami. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Sadma Bando Moi Savadhanna Mate Jahara Prasade Bhai Bhavato Diya Jai. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jahan Hoy Te. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jahan Hoy Te. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Pitete Koriya Kya. और ना कोरी हो माने आशा, और ना कोरी हो माने आशा. Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttamagati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttamagati Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prasade Pure Sarva Asha चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो देव भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाश जायते वेद गाय जहरा चरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधो लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना आहा प्रभु करो देहो मोरे पादचय ये विजासा गुशुक्रे भुवाना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतिता पावाना जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल लोकनाथ लोकेरा जीवाना आहा प्रभु करुणोय देव मोरे पादचाय हे विजसा गुशुक्रे भुवाना श्रीला प्रभुपाद पतित पावाना जय प्रभुपादा जय प्रभुपादा जय गुरुदेवा जय गुरुदेवा नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु आधम्म जनर बंधो Lokanath Lokera Jivana. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu. He is an ocean of mercy. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adamma Janara Bandhu. He is the only protector or the support or the guide for those who are fallen in this ocean of material existence, who are the conditioned jivas. Lokanath Lokera Jivana. You're the friend of all those jivas who want to perfect their lives and go back, come back to Godhead. Shri Lokanath Goswami Tirobhav Mahamahotsava ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gurudev ki jai. So why we sang the song is this is the mood of Narottam Das Thakur towards his spiritual master. Similarly, when we develop this mood of complete surrenderance and taking shelter of our spiritual master, of Srila Prabhupada, who is our eternal Siksha Guru, then we will also be able to attain the desired destination which Narottam Das Thakur got. What is that? Krishna Prem. We will also get the desired destination of Krishna Prem. Unmotivated, uninterrupted service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, Sri Radha and Krishna, to Guru and Gauranga. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Gurudev ki jai. So now let's move on to our regular study of Srila Prabhupada's book, Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift. Okay, so we are on chapter number 5, wherein Srila Prabhupada, how did we end the previous discussion yesterday, right? So how did we end that? Austerity and brahmacharya are painful because we want to be unrestricted. But as soon as we are regulated, what appeared to be painful is in practice not painful. Yukta hara viharasya, yukta chesasya karmashu, yukta swapnava bodhasya, yogo bhavati dukkha. Yogo bhavati dukkha. All miseries will be gone if our lives are regulated in terms of eating, sleeping, work, and recreation. If we are regulated, then everything will fall in place. And we can practice our devotional service nicely. So I was hearing one devotee, Gauranga Prabhu, I think I mentioned here, right? 9 p.m. to 9 a.m. if we regulate properly. That means we sleep on time, That means our last dinner should be 3 hours before, or at least 1 hour before, like between, say, not after 7 o'clock, right? And then we sleep by 9 o'clock. And then we get up in the morning at, say, 3 o'clock, 3:30, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, say 3:30 a.m. And then we perform our sadhana. So in this way, our 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. is automatically taken care of, wherein we do our work and recreation, right? If we eating and sleeping are regulated, then the next day 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. work and recreation also are regulated. So in this way, by following this, we can regulate our ahara, nidra, work and recreation, right? Like this. All right. So let's go ahead and read what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Jyotsna Tiwari Mataji, I can see your hand up. Please go ahead. There are 2 classes of men from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. There are 2 classes of men, those who are sober, dhira, and those who are extravagant, adhira. When one, in spite of provocation or in spite of the presence of a source of mental agitation, can remain steady in his position, he is called dhira. An example of dhira is given by Kalidasa Pandita, a great Sanskrit poet who wrote a book called Kumara Sambhava, wherein he has given an example concerning Lord Shiva. It appears that when the demigods were fighting the demons and were being defeated, they decided that they could be saved by a commander-in-chief born from the semina of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva, however, was in meditation, and to acquire the needed semina was very difficult. They therefore sent Parvati, a young girl, who appeared before Lord Shiva and worshipped his genitals. Although this young girl sat before Lord Shiva and touched his genitals, Lord Shiva was steady in meditation. Kalidasa says, here is an example of dhira, but despite a young girl touching his genitals, he was undisturbed. Similarly, someone sent a young prostitute to disturb Haridasa Thakura, and upon hearing her appeals for intercourse, Haridas Thakur said, yes, your proposal is very nice. Please sit down and let me finish my chanting, and then we shall enjoy. Morning came and the prostitute became impatient, but Haridas Thakura replied, I am very sorry. I could not finish my chanting. Come tonight again. The prostitute came for 3 nights, and on the 3rd night, she fell down at his feet, confessed her intentions, and pleaded with him, I was induced to perform this act by a man who is your enemy. Kindly excuse me. Haridasa Thakura then replied, I know all about that, but I allowed you to come here for 3 days so that you could be converted and become a devotee. Now take these chanting beads and go on chanting. I am leaving this place. Here is another example of dhira who has control of his body, deha, words, vacha, and intelligence, buddhi. One's body, words, and intelligence should be controlled by one who is dhira and who actually knows the principles of religion.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
So here, Prabhupada is quoting 2 examples, one of Lord Shiva, and that is of Haridas Thakur. Very famous example of Haridas Thakur, how the prostitute, not only did Haridas Thakur not get agitated, but he could, by his association, make the prostitute, not even a normal person, somebody who's so much into sense gratification, right? And, not following one of the 4 regulative principles. Such a person has been, elevated by the association of Haridas Thakur to chant 300,000 names of the Lord every day. And she herself became a spiritual master because of the association of Haridas Thakur. So the lesson that we learn here, right, as we all follow regulative principles, we all chant 16 rounds a day, etc. So who is a dhira, right? Dehinosmin yadadehe kaumaram yoganam jara tata dehantara praptir dhiras tatra namuyati. Who is a dhira? A dhira is one who's not dhira is not a person who does not have any emotions. A dhira is a person, like even Arjuna, I always mention this because in Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada in the purport, right, when Arjuna says, tells Krishna, I'm not going to fight because how will I enjoy this kingdom? All of my relatives who are standing before me, whom will I show off? Right. And, I'm going to kill all of them. Right. So I don't want to kill my relatives. Right. So in this way, when he said, Prabhupada mentioned in the purport that this is the quality of a devotee. That a devotee is very merciful. A devotee is very compassionate towards everybody, whether it is relatives or not, right? And this way. But next verse, when Arjuna actually puts down his Gandiva bow, saying, "I'm not going to fight. My lips are quivering. My Gandiva bow is falling down. I cannot fight." And then Prabhupada mentions in the purport that now he is under. He's acting in material consciousness, right? He's acting in materially. So how is it that in one verse his consciousness got changed? One verse he was a devotee of the Lord, hence he was exercising compassion. The next verse, Prabhupada is saying now he's showing material compassion like that. So it's no longer the devotee word is not there in the next purport. Why? Because see, whatever be our state of emotions, right? We may experience with this body what we have, right? There may be situations which will cause us distress, and we are human beings, right? So we will feel emotion, whether it is sadness, distress, whatever it may be. But what is a dhira supposed to do, right? A dhira is supposed to continue performance of his duties. Right? As long as one continues to perform one's duty as prescribed by the Shastras according to one's Swadharma, and duty as Sanatana Dharma also, one chants Hare Krishna Mahamantra minimum 16 rounds, following regulative principles and all of that. Right? As long as one continues to perform one's duty in times of happiness and in times of distress, then one is said to be a dhira. A devotee is always a dhira. Because a devotee continues to perform one's duty, Swadharma as well as Sanatana Dharma, in spite of all external situations, in spite of all provoking situations. Prabhupada actually says that the greatness of a person is determined by how he is able to tolerate provoking situations. Right? A dhira is exactly that. He tolerates all of his external situations that is trying to cause agitation to him. Just like Haridas Thakur. Not only does a pure devotee like Haridas Thakur tolerate, but he converts that situation into an opportunity and converts the agitating situation into converting another person into a devotee. So it's all practicing devotees. We can also in all circumstances, whether it is, in situations of great distress or unhappiness or whatever may be, we should always perform our Sanatana Dharma, which is chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, following the four regulative principles, that we actually take a vow before our spiritual master when we take Diksha. And also our Swadharma correctly. That means we should perform our duty. Just like Arjuna went ahead and fought the battle, although he didn't want to fight, right? But because he got the instruction from his spiritual master, he performed his Swadharma. He fought the battle, right, under the guidance of Krishna. So that is what is a dhira. All right, let's move forward. Karpagoli Mataji, go ahead. We have been continuously committing from there.
Hare Krishna, Dandatna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We have been continuously committing sinful activities since time immemorial, and we do not know when this began. But this life is meant for rectification of all the mistakes that we have committed. If one sets fire to unwanted grass and creepers in a field, they will all be burned. Similarly, by the process of austerity and penance, one can liquidate all sinful activities and become purified. But Sukadev Goswami suggests an alternate process. Kesit Kevalaya
Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya Vasudeva Parayanaha Agam Dunmanti Kartsnena Niharam Iva Bhaskaraha.
Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.15. Generally, if one leads an austere and pious life of celibacy, equanimity, and charity, etc., people will say that he is a very pious man. But simply by becoming Krishna conscious, one can kill all the resultant action of his past sinful life. A fog disappears as soon as the sun rises, and the Krishna rises in the billions of thousands of suns.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Okay,
thank you, Mataji.
So here,
Haribol,
Gandavats Mataji. So here again we go back to our verse. We are reiterating the same verse again and again, right? Why? Because we may have all the good qualities, but if we don't have the central quality of performing devotional service, ahetuki apratihata seva, unto the Lord and his devotees, then all of our so-called wonderful qualities of humility, tolerance, compassion, determination, utsaha, nishcha, dhairya, all of the wonderful qualities that are mentioned, right, that will help a devotee advance in spiritual life, right? Those qualities also will help a person only when one's consciousness is to please Guru and Gauranga. Only if I want to become a devotee, then automatically all these qualities will manifest. But of course, if we have all these qualities, but we don't have the central quality of devotion to the Lord, then all of these qualities become external and there's not much of use because it will keep us in this material world, right? Yasyasti bhakti bhagavati akinchana sarver gune satra samasate shura harava bhaktisya kuto mahan guna manoratena sati davato vahihi. It's all external and it's only at the level of the mind, and it's only external that we are just probably giving a lot of charity, opening hospitals, opening temples, this, that, etc. But what is the consciousness? What is the objective behind what I'm doing, right? Is it to acquire name, fame, glory? Of course we will get enough and more of name, fame, glory being a devotee, but that is not the ultimate objective of a devotee. The ultimate objective of a devotee is Mama Janmani Janmani Shure Bhavatat Bhaktir Ahai Tuki Tvai. I want to render service unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead in an unmotivated, uninterrupted way. And even if it is across lifetimes, right? That's why devotee does not even want to go back home, back to Godhead. But wherever the Lord places me, I simply want to engage in the loving service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is the consciousness of a pure devotee, right? From Dhira, now we've gone ahead to what is the consciousness of a pure devotee of the Lord. Wherever you keep me, asli Shiva padaratam pinishtumam adarshanan marmatam karotuva yata tatha vividadatu lampato mat prananathassu saivanapra. You are my worshipful Lord. You are the person for whom I can dedicate everything. Oh Lord, whether you hug me or whether you embrace me with all love or whether you leave me and go away, right? And the Goswamis of Vrindavan, right? Lokanath Goswami talking about, right? Dhira dhira satra priyakaro, dhira dhira. Oh God, I forgot it. Okay, we'll sing the Shad Goswami Ashtakam also, right? Because see, this is the mode of the Goswami. This is the mode of the pure devotee of the Lord. So it's applicable to Lokanath Goswami, Bhugarbha Goswami, all of those Goswamis. Goswami means what? Those who have completely controlled their senses and they are completely dedicated to the service of the Lord. Dhira priya priya karo Manyo Sharanya Karo Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mataliko Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghutugo Shri Jiva Gopalako. Okay, we'll finish this chapter, and if there is time, we will sing the Sad Goswami Ashtakam. Okay, so what was I saying here? Right, Dhira. That means Dhira is the essential quality of a devotee, because a devotee does not give up devotional practices whether or not one is in happiness or one is in distress. Then practicing this Dhira, one actually attains the highest state of whatever be the situation that I am placed in, right? Whether the Lord is in front of me or whether the Lord leaves me and goes away. This is the mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Radharani. Which is the mood of Srimati Radharani, right? In separation from the Lord, this is what is her mood, right? Whether I am with you, whether I am away from you, right? Although she exhibits man, etc., for the pleasure of the Lord only, her internal mood is to always serve the Lord in whatever state I am in. Let me always serve the Lord, and that is the mood that we also want to develop, right? Being following in the line of Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara. We are followers of Srimati Radharani. So this is the mood that we want to adopt. Whatever be the state, whatever be my external state, let my mind only desire to serve Guru and Gauranga, to serve Shri Radha and Krishna, like that. Okay, Asharya Mataji, go ahead. This process is accepted from there.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
This process is accepted only by someone who is very fortunate. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore said, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiva Guru Krishna Prasade Paya Bhakti Lata Bija. By the grace of Krishna and the spiritual master, a fortunate person, after wandering throughout the universe in different species of life, receives the seed of pure devotional service. Krishna consciousness is meant for the very fortunate. For simply by accepting this one process, a person can surpass all the duties of the austerity, renunciation, celibacy, etc. Shukdev Goswami declares, Kechit Kaivalyam Bhaktya, Srimad Bhagavatam 6.1.15. One who is extremely fortunate take to the process of pure devotional service. Kevala Bhakti refers to pure, unalloyed devotional service in which there is no desire but to please Krishna. One should not render devotional service just to increase his income. We want money to become happy. But if we take to Krishna consciousness, automatically we will become so happy that we'll neglect money. Money will automatically come. Happiness will come. There is no need to endure for these things separately. It was Dhruva Maharaj who
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Dhanwad.
Okay, so here we are seeing one important point. I was hearing, I guess, Prabhupada's lecture, I'm not sure. I heard it some time back. Right, where this devotee or Prabhupada, I'm not sure. So this person was mentioning, how when we have 2,000 rupees, 220 rupees are automatically contained in it. Right. Similarly, when we have the ultimate Kevala Bhakti, that means no other desire other than the desire to serve and please Lord Sri Krishna. Now, whatever is our other desires, right? Money, name, fame, glory, etc., will come. But a devotee is not deluded, right? He will accept it when it is given, but he will not hanker for it when it is not given, right? So when this Kevala Bhaktya, Kevala Ananda Kanda, it is saying, right? So when this bhakti, this ananda that is derived out of bhakti is experienced by a person, such a person is not happy by receiving anything else other than this Kevala Bhakti, right? That is what is given here. Money will automatically come. Happiness will come. There is no need to endeavor for these things separately like that. Okay, so let's move forward. Kechit Kevalaya Bhaktya. And Brahmandi Brahmiti Kona Bhagyavana Jiva. Such a person who's acquired this seed of devotional service is the greatest fortunate soul, right? Is very, very fortunate, right? Because Brahmandi Brahmiti Kona Bhagyavana Jiva. Bhagyavan means very fortunate. And in the entire universe, such a person who receives the seed of bhakti is very, very fortunate. We're all fortunate souls. Yeah. All right. So Ritu Parna Mataji, go ahead. It was Dhruva Maharaj. Yeah. Example of Dhruva Maharaj.
Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji.
It was Dhruva Maharaj who lamented how foolish I was that I took to devotional service with a desire for material profit. Ordinarily, for material profit, one goes to his boss or some rich man or demigod, but a devotee does not go anywhere but to Krishna. Even he has material desires. If one goes to Krishna even for material advantages, the day will come when he forgets material desires, just like Dhruva Maharaj. He was repentant and said, I came to Krishna and asked for something material, just like one who has pleased a very rich man and who asks him for a few grains of rice. If a rich man agrees to give us whatever we want, but we ask him only for a few grains of rice, is that very intelligent? Asking Krishna for material benefit is exactly like this. One need not ask Krishna extraneously for material happiness, for material happiness will automatically roll before his very feet, pleading, please take me, please take me. Those who are practicing Krishna consciousness are not in need of the material opulences, wives, children, happiness, home, for all is acquired automatically by the grace of Krishna. There is no need to ask Krishna for these material things, but one should simply request him, please engage me in your service. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna also promises that if one engages in his service, he will simply what is needed and preserve whatever is already possessed. One of his final instructions to Arjuna indicates total dependence on him.
Thank you. So we will just discuss this point. Very beautiful. What is mentioned here, right? One need not ask Krishna extraneously for material happiness. Right, and there is this verse in Nectar Devotion: Akama sarva kamo va moksha kamo dhardi Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. Right? So we were just discussing the other day also about this, right? So Dhruva Maharaj also had a lot of material desires. And Hiranyakashipu also had material desires. He wanted to become immortal, right? But what is the difference? How both of them derived different results. Dhruva Maharaj got Krishna Prem. He could see the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord kept his conch on his head. And in this way, he got darshan of the Lord. Whereas Hiranyakashipu got killed by Narsinghadev, right? All of his conditions were met when Brahma gave him that benediction. All of the conditions that he had put, how he should not be killed, right? All of that was surpassed, and Narsinghadev found a way to kill him. So what is the difference? The difference is one worshipped Brahma, right? Who is part of this creation, and the other worshipped Vishnu, who is the only person who can give mukti or liberation. So that is why in Nectar of Devotion it says, Akama Sarva Kamava, whether we are full of desires or whether we have no desires. Akama Sarva Kamava, Moksha Kamodaradi, Tivrena Bhakti Yogena, Yajeta Purusham Param. Yajeta means worship. Purusham Param means worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he will not only give us what we want, whatever is our material desire, if it is favorable for our taking up the devotional path, but he will also purify those desires, right? Those desires will not remain in our heart. Just like Dhruva Maharaj, what did he say? What did he tell the Lord when he took darshan? Right? I was asking for broken pieces of glass, but you have given me the diamond, like that. So not only is our desire fulfilled, because he still got the Dhruva Loka, which was much bigger planet, right? So not only will our desires be fulfilled, although that's not pure devotional service, if we have some desires, we should approach only Krishna. That's one point. Secondly, there is no need to ask Krishna for these material things, but one should simply request him, please engage me in your service. There is a wonderful pastime, how a king, actually told, it was his birthday, maybe, I guess. So he said that I am willing to, give anything to anybody today. Whatever you want, you ask me. And then one person asked for a lot of wealth. I immediately got the wealth. One person asked that I want a big, magnificent house. Another person asked that, I should get nice jewelry. Another person asked that, for next 10 years, I should have enough and more provisions in my house so that I don't have to go and buy, like all of that, right? There was one very intelligent man who said, I want to become the king's friend. And then the king was saying, hey, ask something nice. What will you do becoming my friend? What is it? But he said, no, I just want to be your friend. And then the king said, okay, fine. All right. So the birthday was over. And after that, after a week or so, this man invited the king to his house for lunch. And then the king said, yeah, I'm his friend. I'm going to his house for lunch. And then what happens? The king cannot go to a jobdi patti for lunch, isn't it? So they made a big palace for him, a big house for him. They gave all the provisions and everything to him. And then they gave him nice, wonderful dresses and garments and everything. So this intelligent man got everything. Why? Because he only desired to become the friend of this king. And he did not ask, small things, right? Similarly, when we have the opportunity to become the friend of the Lord, why are we asking those things which will put us into more illusion? When we get more money, we think, oh, now I can control everything with this money. So it is actually taking us far away from Krishna, right? So whatever desires we have, the first thing is we pray to the Lord so that our desires get purified. Secondly, when we have this opportunity to ask the best thing from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, why to settle for anything less? So that's what it is, right? He and Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham. There's a beautiful verse in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna promises that to those who render continuous devotional service unto me, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. Yoga Kshemam Vahamyaham, like that. All right. So now we will request Deval Mataji and then we will sing this Shat Goswami Ashtakam. Yes, Mataji, go ahead. One of his final instructions.
1 second, Mataji. From one of his, I think that is read, right?
One of his final instructions to Arjuna.
Okay, one of his final instructions to Arjuna indicates total dependence on him. Chetasa sarva karmani mai sanyasya matparaha buddhi yogam upashritya mat chitta satatam bhava.
In all activities and for their results, just depend upon me and work always under my protection. In such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. Bhagavad Gita 18.57. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. So in all activities, and probably we can start the next chapter today. In all activities and for their results, just depend on me, work always under my protection, right? So Sarvadharman Parityaja Mamikam Sharanam Braja. So it's the same thing, right? Whatever work you perform, just depend on me, work under my protection, and in such devotional service, be fully conscious of me. Manmana Bhava Madbhakto Madhyaji Mam Namaskuru Mam Evaishi Satyamti Pratijane Priyosimi. Like that. Right. So let's move to the next chapter. Probably 1:30 we will start with Shad Goswami Ashtakam. We have another 6 minutes. Deval Mataji, if you want to read, you may read the next chapter also. This is chapter 6, transcending designations and problems. Okay, so we have, okay. So Nisha Mataji, go ahead. Sarvopadi Vinir Muktam, Tat Paratvena Nirmalam, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam, Bhakti Ruchate. Right? So what is this designation? What are we talking about designations? Right? I'm a woman, I'm a chartered accountant, I'm the daughter of someone, I am the mother, I am the controller, I decide things, right? All of these things, we have to transcend all these designations so that we are left with only one designation. What is that? Jivara Swarupohe Krishnera Nityadas. I am an eternal servant of the Lord. That is only designation. So Sarvo Upadi. Upadi means designations. Vinir Muktam, coming out of all of these designations. Tat Paratvena Nirmalam, purifying our senses in that way. Right? Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Ruchate. Rishikena, that means employing our senses in the service of Rishikesha. Bhakti Ruchate. That is actually bhakti. So how do we transcend our designations? And in spite of all of the problems that we may have, how are we going to transcend all of that and engage in devotional service? So this is the final chapter. Let's go ahead and start. Okay, so Deval Mataji, that's fine. So it's okay. We'll ask Nisha Mataji. We'll give chance, and then Navkishori Mataji, and then we'll end. Hare Krishna. Yes, Nisha Mataji, go ahead. Mataji, not audible. Not audible, Mataji. Okay, so you just set your audio and then by the time we'll come back to you. Navkishori Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki Jai. Dandavat Pranam.
Jai.
Transcending designation and problems. Krishna consciousness is easily achieved by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, but only some are fortunate enough to have the mercy of Lord Chaitanya and his disciplic succession. According to Bhagavad Gita, Manushyanam sahasreshu kachita yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kachina mama veti tattvataha. Out of many thousands among men, one may endeavor for perfection, and of those who have achieved perfection, hardly one who knows me in truth. Bhagavad Gita 7.3. God realization is not possible for animals or for persons who are almost animals, or for animals in the shape of human beings. Contemporary civilization is by and large an assembly of animals because, as stated before, it operates on the basis of the animal propensities. The bird and the beast arise early in the morning and busy themselves trying to find food and sex and trying to defend themselves. At night they look for shelter, and in the morning they fly to a tree to find nuts and fruits. Similarly, in New York City, great hordes of people travel from one island to another by ferry boat or wait for subway in order to go to the office for the purpose of finding food. How is this an advancement over animal life? Although the ferry and subway are always crowded and many people have to travel 40 or 50 miles for bread, the birds are free to fly from one tree to another. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mataji. Okay, fine. So here, Prabhupada is comparing the birds and beasts with the people of New York, right? They're saying, so much of ugra karma, hard labor, to acquire food, clothing, and shelter. How is this an advancement over animal life? Although the ferry and subway are always crowded, many people have to travel 40 or 50 miles for bread. The birds are free to fly from one tree to another. So in spite of that, means the human beings are endeavoring much more than the birds and animals. Why? Because for them, at least it's free. They can just fly around and find some food. But the human beings have to, undergo so much of inconvenience in such crowded buses and trains like that, and ferries or whatever. One has to travel in order to get this kind of food like that. Okay. Real civilization. Who was reading actually? Nisha, Mother, you want to try?
Dandavat Pranam Mataji.
Krishna. Dandavat Pranam. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead. Audible. Yeah.
Prabhupada ki jai. Real civilization is not concerned simply with man's animal needs, but with enabling man to understand his relationship with God, the Supreme Father. One may learn about his relationship with God by any process, through Christianity, through the Vedic literatures, or through the Quran. But in any case, it must be learned. The purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is not to make Christians into Hindus or Hindus into Christians, but to inform everyone that the duty of human being is to understand his relationship with God. One must learn this. Otherwise, he is simply wasting his time by engaging in animalistic propensities. We must all try to love Krishna or God. If one has a process, he should practice it, or he can come and learn this process. One should not begrudge the selection of one process over another.
Vishadapi amritam grayam amedhyadapi kachanam kanchanam nichadapi uttamam vidyam striratnam duskuladapi. Niti Darpan 1.16.
Chanakya Pandita says that one must catch what is right from any source. If there is a glass of poison with some nectar in it, he says one should take out the nectar and leave the poison. In the same way, if one finds gold in a filthy place, he should take it. Similarly, although according to the Vedic system of education, one must be given instruction by intellectual persons like Brahmanas. If someone lower on the social scale has learned the truth, one should accept him as a teacher and learn from him. One should not think that just because one is lowly born, he should not be accepted as a teacher. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you.
Okay, so Sridhar Prabhu, if you wanted to read, you may raise your hand. Okay, so here it is said, right? Even if we find a gold in a filthy place, we still take the gold, right? Because we can get good value for that gold, or we can use that gold, or we can make anything of our choice with that gold. Similarly, Paramahamsas, right? Who are the Paramahamsas? Paramahamsas are those. Hamsa means the swan. When there is milk and water kept together, the swan is able to clearly take only the milk and leave the water. Now, that is why the devotee is great. Devotee is called Paramahamsa. Paramahamsa means whenever they interact with any person or they see any person, they pick up only the good qualities of that particular person. They see only the good qualities of that person. They don't see any fault in anybody else. That is true also to an Uttamadhikari. Wherein Uttamadhikari devotee, he actually feels, it's not that he is pretending, but he actually feels that everybody else is a devotee. Everybody else is endowed with so many wonderful qualities. It is only that I am not a devotee. That is the quality of a Paramahamsa, an Uttamadhikari devotee. And another point what Prabhupada mentions here is just because one is low born, right? One may be born in a low class family, right? Maybe in the family of Shudras, etc. But one should not be estimated by birth, but one should be estimated by one's knowledge of the scriptures, one's ability to make devotees, right? When a person quotes from the Shastras and carries on his life in such a way so as to be an inspiration for the other people to follow, right? Then irrespective of the birth, he is considered to be a spiritual master, right? He can be taken as a guru, right? Kibo Vipra, Kibo Nyasi, Shudra Kene Naya. Krishna Bhakti, say Guru Haya, right? So, so one who knows the Krishna Tattva and practices Krishna consciousness, such a person can be taken as a devotee. Whether such a person is a Brahmana or a Vaishya or a Kshatriya or a Shudra does not matter. Okay, we'll end with Sridhar Prabhu. Prabhu, you can read one paragraph. Similarly, if one is serious from that. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhu.
Similarly, if one is serious about understanding God, he should not think I am Christian, I am Hindu, or I am Muslim. If one is serious about understanding love of God, he should consider which process is practical. One should not think, why should I follow Hindu or Vedic scriptures? The purpose of following the Vedic scriptures is to develop love of God. When students come to America for a higher education, they do not consider that fact that the teachers may be American, German, or other nationalities. If one wants to higher education, he simply comes and takes it. Similarly, if there is an effective process for understanding and approaching God like this Krishna conscious process, one should take it. Not at all, but those who are intelligent and fortunate take to this process of devotional service, Kevalaya Bhaktya, and their only desire to serve Krishna from early morning till at night. The devotees are engaged in Krishna service. This is called Kevalaya, pure. For them, there is no other business. This process is recommended for all, and it is perfection of all religious process. Savai
Pumsam
Paro Dharmo Yato Bhaktir Adosahi. In Sanskrit, there are two words, para and apara, which describe the superior, transcendental, and the inferior, material approaches to religion. In this execution of material dharma, a religious performed for the material gain, people generally go to the church or temple and pray. God give us our daily bread. Actually, this need not be asked for. For bread, this is already provided for everyone. Even the bird and the beast get their bread without having to go to the church to ask God for it. Similarly, our bread is also provided. Whatever we go to church or not, that is not a problem. For one who dying in the state of self-starvation, for not do we find a bird based or even an ant dying the starvation. Food is there and one need not bother about it. If the brain should be taxed, it should be taxed for Krishna or God. This is the proper utilization of time. There is no scarcity of bread in the kingdom of God. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. So here, Daddy Bol, Danat Pranam. Thank you so much. So here, Prabhupada is making a very wonderful point, right? Even animals, birds, beasts, etc., get their quota of food, right? Aisha Vasim Idam Sarvam Yadkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Taktena Bujita Magrida Kasyas Vidanam. Whatever we have got, we have already got enough and more according to what we are entitled to or what we qualified for according to our desires. Even the birds and beasts get their quota of food. So why should we unnecessarily pray for food? And very beautiful this line. If the brain should be taxed, it should be taxed for Krishna or God. How can I serve the Lord and his devotees? That is how we should utilize our brain, right? This is the proper utilization of time, right? This is the proper utilization of time. Otherwise, it is Ugra Karma. What is it called? Shrama Evahi Kevalam. In Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, right? When Swanustitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Hari Doshanam. That means if we are not spending our time for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then it is Shrama Evahi Kevalam. Then it is useless labor. Such labor will not yield us any permanent results. So the proper utilization of time is to engage in glorifying the Lord and speaking about the Lord and chanting Hare Krishna and performing deity worship, in doing seva, which starts from Shravana to Atma Nivedanam, performing service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And there is no scarcity of bread in the kingdom of God, right? The Chintamani Prakara Satmusu Kalpa Viksha, Lakshavrateshu Surabhirabi Palayantam, Lakshmi Sahasrashata Sambrama Sevyamanam, Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajami. The Lord and his abode are filled with the transcendental variegatedness. There is no shortage of anything. So we need not pray. Devotee need not pray for anything except wanting to go back to that world. Or even that, a devotee does not pray. Devotee simply prays wherever I am situated, let me always think of you, let me always serve you, let me engage in your service. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudeva ki Jai, Ananta Koji Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. So now let me find out. I'll just Google Sad Goswami Ishtakam and share it. Yeah. Okay, so we'll just sing this beautiful song. We have about 20 minutes from our scheduled time. So let's quickly sing this beautiful song and then we'll read the translation to see what is the mood of the Goswamis. What should be our goal? What should be our ultimate goal? What should be our activities? What should we be doing? In what consciousness should we be doing? I hope everyone is able to see the screen. Yeah, everybody's able to see. Yeah, thank you. Krishna Kirtana Gana Nartana Paro Premamrita Bhonidhi Veera Dhira Jana Priyau Priyakarau Nirmatsarau Pujitau Shri Chaitanya Kripa Bharau Bhuvi Bhuvo Bharavahantarakau Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghuyugau Sri Jiva Gopalakau Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipunau Sadharma Samstapakau Lokanam Hitakarinav Tribhuvane Manyau Sharanyakarau Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandena Mattalikau Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghuyugau Sri Jiva Gopalakau Shri Gauranga Gunanuvarnana Vidau Shraddha Samridhyanvitau Apotapani Krintanau Tanubhritam Govinda Ganamritai Ananda Buddhivardhanai Kanipunau Kaivalya Nistarakau Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau Sri Jiva Gopalakau Yaktva Turnamasheshamar Dalapati Shrenim Sadatu Chavat Bhutva Dina Ganesha Kau Karunaya Gaupina Kantashritau Gopi Bhavarasa Mritabdilahari Kallola Magna Muhur Vande Rupa Sanatanam Raghuyugau Sri Jiva Gopalakau Puja Chokila Hamsasa Rasagana Pirme Mayura Kule Nana Ratna Nibaddamu Lavitapa Viyukta Vrindavane Radha Krishna Maharnisham Prabhajatau Jivartadau Yau Mudha Vande Rupa Sanatanau Raghuyugau Shri Jiva Gopalakau Sankhya Purvakanamaga Nanativihi Kalavasani Kritau निद्राहारविहारकादिविजितौ चात्यन्तहीनौ च यौ राधा कृष्ण गुण स्मृतेर्मधुरिमा नन्देन सम्मोहितौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ राधा कुण्ड तटे कलिदतनया तीरे च वंशीवधे प्रेमोन्माधव सदशेषदशया ग्रस्तौ प्रमत्तौ सदा गायन्तौ च कदा हरे गुणवरम् भावाभिभूतौ मूढा वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीवा गोपालकौ हे राधे व्रज देविके चललिते हे नन्द शुनो कुटः श्रीगोवर्धन कल्पपादपतले कालिन्दी वने कुटः कोशन्तविति सर्वतो व्रजपुरे केदैर्महाविह्वलौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ वन्दे रूप सनातनौ रघुयुगौ श्रीजीव गोपालकौ। श्री गोस्वामी वृंदावन की जय, लोकनाथ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय, भूगर्भ गोस्वामी महाराज की जय, अनंत गौजी गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल. So devotees can read the translations. Whoever wants to read, raise your hands. I'll start with the first. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Shri Rupa Goswami, Shri Sanatana Goswami, Shri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Shri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Shri Jiva Goswami, and Shri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are always engaged in chanting the holy name of Krishna and dancing. They're just like the ocean of love of God, and they are popular both with the gentle and with the ruffians, because they are not envious of anyone. Whatever they do, they are all pleasing to everyone, and they are fully blessed by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thus, they are engaged in missionary activities meant to deliver all the conditioned souls in this material universe. Karpakavali Mataji, go ahead. Verse 2.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Nadatnam. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunathan Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very expert in scrutinizingly studying all the revealed scriptures with the aim of establishing eternal religious principles for the benefit of all human beings. Thus, they are honored all over the 3 worlds, and they are worth taking shelter because they are absorbed in the mood of the gopis, and they are engaged in the transcendental loving service of Radha and Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Dandatna.
Sarvagopeshwari Mataji, verse 3.
Krishna Mataji Dandatna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the 6 Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who are very much enriched in understanding of Lord Chaitanya and who are thus expert in narrating his transcendental qualities. They can purify all conditioned souls from the reactions of their sinful activities by pouring upon them the transcendental songs about Govinda. As such, they are very expert in increasing the limits of the ocean of transcendental bliss and they are the saviors of the living entities from the devouring mouth of liberation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Rituparna Mataji, go ahead. Fourth verse, translation.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who kicked off all association of aristocracy as insignificant. In order to deliver the poor conditioned souls, they accepted landlords, treating themselves as mendicants, but they are always merged in the ecstatic ocean of the gopis' love for Krishna and bathe always and repeatedly in the waves of that ocean. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Asharya Mataji, go ahead. Next one, verse 5, translation.
Unto the six Goswamis, Sri Swami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopal Krishna in the transcendental land of Vrindavan. And they are beautiful, the fruits under
Your voice is breaking, Mataji. Full of fruits and flowers, which have
Is
under
it
their...
audible now? Is it audible
Yes.
now, Mataji?
Yeah.
In the
Start from-
transcendental land of Vrindavan. Shall I start again from first?
Yeah, I offer my respectful obeisances.
Okay, Mataji. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatt Goswami, who were always engaged in worshipping Radha Krishna in the transcendental land of Vrindavan, where there are beautiful trees full of fruits and flowers, which have under their roots all valuable jewels. The Goswamis are perfectly competent to bestow upon the living entities the greatest boon of the goal of life. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Nisha Mataji, go ahead. Text 6, translation. Mataji, not audible. Okay, we'll come back to you. Navkishwari Mataji, set up your audio. We'll come back to you. Next verse. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who were engaged in chanting the holy name of the Lord and bowing down in a scheduled measurement. In this way, they utilized their valuable time, lives, and in educating these devotional activities, they conquered over eating and sleeping, and were always meek and humble, enchanted by remembering the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Anjana Mataji, go ahead. Nisha Mataji, you need to raise your hand when your audio is okay, so that I can make you unmute. Yeah.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunath Dasa Bhatta Goswami, who was sometimes on the bank of Radha Kunda lake or the shores of the Yamuna, and sometimes at Vamchivata. And there they appeared just like madmen in the full ecstasy of love for Krishna. Different transcendental symptoms in their bodies, and they were immersed in the ecstasy of Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Nisha Mataji, I don't see you. Shobha Mataji, go ahead. I offer my last one.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the six Goswamis, namely Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Bhatta Goswami, Sri Raghunatha Dasa Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Gopala Bhatta Goswami, who were chanting very loudly everywhere in Vrindavana, shouting, Queen of Vrindavana, Radharani, O Lalita, O son of Narada Maharaja, where are you all now? Are you just on the hills of Govardhana, or are you under the trees of the bank of the Yamuna? Where are you? These were the moods in executing Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam Mataji.
Krishna,
Hari
thank you,
Bol.
Mataji. Dandat pranams. So very, very beautiful mood of Goswamis is narrated here, right? Prabhupada always mentions in his lectures, the Goswamis never said that I met Radha and Krishna yesterday, right? The mood is always in separation from Shri Radha and Krishna. Oh, Radha and Krishna, where are you? Right? Hey, Nanda, Sunu Kutaha. Right? Where are you? Hey, Radhe, Vrajadevi Kecha Lalite. Hey, Nanda, Sunu Kutaha. Where are you? When can I be engaged in your service? That is the mode of Vipralamba Bhav. And that is the highest state of ecstasy for a devotee to serve in separation from the beloved, like that. All right. Asha Arya Mataji, I hope you already read, isn't it? Your hand is still up.
Yes, Mataji, I have read. Thank you so much, Mataji.
So let's do Harinam Sankirtan. Before that, let's see who all we have in our today's session. Take the nice darshan of the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord is very purifying. We have Rituparna Mataji, Nisha Mataji, Karpagali Mataji, Sarvagopeshwari Mataji, Shobha Mataji, Anjana Mataji, Sridhar Prabhu. Sridhar Prabhu is, I could just say Arjuna and Krishna. Okay, Sridhar Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Dandat pranams. And all the devotees who don't want to switch on your cameras, that's fine. So, Vachakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Anantakoti Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. So let's quickly do Harinam Sankirtan and then we'll end our session. Tomorrow we'll meet at 12:30 for our regular 1 hour study of Srila Prabhupada's book. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Disha Tarini Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Tadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Radhe Shyam Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Vrindavan Dham Jaya Shad Goswami Jaya Shad Goswami Jaya Shad Goswami Jaya Shad Goswami Jaya Guru Parampara Jaya Guru Parampara Jaya Guru Parampara Jaya Guru Parampara Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Guru Dev Srila Guru Dev Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai Srila Lokanath Goswami Tirobhav Maha Mahotsava ki jai Ananta Koji Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna All glories to the assembled devotees Hare Krishna All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai Nitai Gaur Premanande Hari Hari